So YouTube, it's your boy Lord Loon 6075, aka the Water Twin, here with my Gishki deck again. As promised, guys, I got 50 likes on my last Gishki video. The annotation to the last video, which I like to call the Gishki standard build, will be right here. So check it out, comment, and subscribe to me if you guys have not subscribed. And come on back and enjoy the release of Gustkraken. Alright, this build right here, guys, is a purely 6-star build, and it's probably going to be the most commonly used build throughout the meta once guys pick up Gishki, to do the hand loop and stuff like that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into my touch on the build. Alright, first up, first card of the deck, and the main card of the deck, and the primary win condition of the deck is Evigishki Gustkraken. Alright guys, when this card is ritual summoned, look up to 2 cards in your opponent's hand at random, choose one of those cards to go back to the deck, and the other one goes back to your opponent's hand. Alright guys, now like I said, when I say win condition of that, this is how to get deck primarily wins. Alright guys, we spam a bunch of Gustkrakens onto the field, or one at a time, and we basically take your opponent's hand away, leaving the essentially with 1 to 2 cards in hand, depending on what kind of hand you guys drew. Alright guys, so like I said, this is the primary win condition of the deck, but it's not subject or limited to win that way. Alright guys, another thing is another win condition, once we get finished plucking the hands of our opponents, we try to get 2 Gustkrakens on the board to overlay for Photon Street Bouncer, which is this guy. Alright guys, and that essentially locks up the game. Alright guys, you pretty much want to target all spell and traps that your opponent have, or some pesky monsters that you don't want to see that can really mess up the Gustkraken, and then just leave your opponent just dangling right then and there. Alright guys, this card is easily searched out by Gishki Abyss with his 1000 defense, and that's pretty much all I got to say about Gustkraken. Like I said, it's the primary win condition of the deck, so guys, try to stick to it. Alright, next up is Evigishki Augus. This is primarily my tech card for each Gishki deck, because I feel like Augus is just too good to ignore. Alright guys, it's 100 attack more bigger than Evigishki Gustkraken, but it's fine. We can search them out with Evigishki Vision. Alright, when this card is ritual summoned, I'll take 5 cards from either player's graveyard and goes back to the deck. Whether it's 5 cards out of mine, or 2 cards out of mine, and 3 cards out of my opponent, you guys get the hang of it. Alright guys, so this essentially can mess up Chaos Dragons, like I said once before my last build, or it can mess up Insectors. Alright, those are primarily 2 decks that Augus try to check from time to time. Alright, so that's Augus. Next up, 3 copies of Gishki Beast. He's in here only to XYZ summon and stuff like that. Next up is 2 copies of Manju of the 10,000 Hands. Alright guys, if you guys can remember way back in Reflection on the Alchemira, the first video I put up here on YouTube, I actually played this guy at, I think it was 2 or 3, 1 or 2. And I actually took him out for Aerial. Alright, but now he's back. Like I said, the primary win condition of this deck is to ritual summon Evigishki Gustkraken. Alright, to take your opponent's hand away. Alright guys, I cannot stress enough how important this win condition is. Alright, it's just think of it as wind-ups. Alright guys, but with rituals. Wind-ups, primary win condition is to hand loop you. Well, this is the same thing, guys. So I have Manju the 10,000 Hands in there over Gishki Chain and Gishki Amelia. Alright guys, just so I can pull off more ritual summons. Next up, and a staple of the deck, or any Gishki deck, 3 copies of Gishki Shadow. He's you pitch him to search for the ritual spell card, and he can be used as the entire tribute of the ritual summon. Next up, the primary search of the deck, Gishki Abyss. When this card is summoned in any way, form, or fashion, I search my deck for a Gishki monster with 1,000 less defense and add it to my hand. This guy easily searches out Evigishki Gustkraken, like I said once before, Gishki Shadow, and Gishki Vision, which I'm gonna get to next. I played 2 copies of Gishki Vision. This card can be pitched from the hand to search any Gishki ritual monster and add it to my hand, and it can be used as an entire tribute for a water ritual. Next up, copy of Gorz and 2 copies of Trag. Alright guys, I'm still rolling around with the Tragodias and the Gorz just for protection, guys, just to answer the meta. And like I said once before in the other video, Trag is here to help me accede into those rank 6 monsters like Photon Street Bouncer, number 25, Gaia Dragon, Thunder Charger, and what's the other one? Oh, Insector Exhibitor. Alright, guys. So those primarily were the Trags in there and the Gorz in there, just to basically keep my opponent in check. Alright, that's it for the monsters. Next up, 3 copies of Gishki Mirror. Alright, guys. With Gishki Mirror, it's fairly easy to pull off the hand loop. Alright, guys. Because what it does, once you ritual summon one Evigishki Gustkraken and the mirror goes to the graveyard, the key component is you want to use Gustkraken to summon a Gustkraken. Alright, so what you do, you summon a Gustkraken. I mean, you play the mirror, you pitch a Evigishki Gustkraken, and then you summon a Evigishki Gustkraken. You use the mirror effect in the graveyard to bounce back to the deck to bounce the Gustkraken that you use as a tribute to your hand. Alright, guys. Now, the only thing you're really gonna need is more ritual cards. Alright, so the more ritual cards you have in your hand, the more prevalent the combo is gonna be. Okay. But we're gonna go into. I got some pretty tricky ways to get into these combos and make it a whole lot easier. All right, guys. So that's Gishki Mirror. You can't get around playing this guy. Next up, 3 copies of Salvage, which is staple in any Gishki deck, I believe. This card gets back Beast, Vision, Shadow, and Abyss, guys. All right. So 3 salvages. All right. My personal spin on the deck, which I like to play, is Preparation of Rites. I'm going to go ahead and just read this card out for you guys. Add to your hand 1 level 7 or lower ritual monster from your deck. Alright, guys, so right off, you can easily search Evigishki Augus and the primary win condition of the deck, Evigishki Gustkraken. Alright, but you guys, this card has a second effect. Then you can add to your hand 1 ritual card from your graveyard. Alright, guys, so what is essentially saying is that if you have a dead ritual spell card in grave, just go ahead and just play this card. Alright, you're going to get a +1 automatically because you're going to get your ritual spell card out the grave, and then you're going to search for your ritual monster via Gustkraken or Augus. Alright, guys? You know what? I'm going to go ahead and go a little bit in depth with this. Alright? Let me just show this combo to you guys. Let's just take 1 Preparation Rites, 2 Evigishki Gustkrakens, and 1 Gishki Mirror. Alright, guys? Let's start it off. Let's say you open with these cards in your hand, and you just want to go ahead and start looping your opponent. Alright, first you're going to play Gishki Mirror, tribute 1 your Gustkraken from hand, go to the graveyard to summon the Gustkraken. Alright, guys? Now in your hand, and you just go ahead and loop. In your hand, you have no other ritual spell cards in hand. Alright, guys? So, the next thing you want to do is go ahead and just activate Preparation of Rites. Alright, guys? So, what you're going to do, you're going to add the dead Gishki Mirror from the graveyard back to your hand. And you're going to search for your 3rd Evigishki Gustkraken. Alright, guys? From your deck. Alright, this goes to the graveyard. Now, you have 1 more hand loop in hand. Alright, so that's essentially going to be 2 cards. We're going to play activate Gishki Mirror again. Tribute this Gustkraken to the graveyard to summon this one. Alright, guys? So that's pretty much how Preparation of Rites works in the deck. Alright, guys? So PM me, guys, or leave comments below if you want to know any more pretty good goofy tricks with the Preparation of Rites. Alright, guys? Because there's tons of combos with that card. Alright, next we get into the staples. Staple Monster Reborn, Heavy Storm, and Dark Hole. And this wraps up the spell cards. Alright, guys? Moving on to the traps. We have 2 copies of Solemn Warning, staple. 2 copies of Torrential Tribute. 2 copies of Bottomless. And 2 copies of Spiritual Water Art Aoi. Alright, guys? It's been a very, very long time since I've seen this card. I actually had to go dig it out of my water box. So I'm just go ahead and read this for you newcomers. Alright? Tribute 1 water monster on your side of the field, look at your opponent's hand, and select 1 card and send that card to the graveyard. Alright, guys, this is a very, very powerful card in this deck, and it can easily be comboed with the Searching of Abyss, turn 1, or whatever you, or whatever, however the cards are falling. Turn 1. Let's tell you what. Let's just get into a combo again right here. All right, let's go. Let's say we have the Water Art, we have Abyss, we have a Kraken, a Mirror, and let's say another Kraken. All right. So let's say that's our first 5 or whatever the case may be. All right, you go ahead and you normal summon Abyss, you get your Abyss search or whatever, and do all that crazy stuff. And you go ahead and loop your opponent. Play Aqua Mirror, you pitch a Gustkraken, summon the Gustkraken. All right, guys. And you're going to end turn. So you're going to set, go ahead and set your Water Art. Now you don't essentially want to use your Gustkraken as a tribute. You already plucked your opponent for 1 card, and this is how prevalent this card can be. Once your opponent draws, go ahead and chain. Go ahead and change your Water Art off of Abyss. Chain goes to the graveyard. Abyss goes to the graveyard. Then you get to look into your opponent's hand and see and pick out any pisky card that they might have, like a Dark Hole or a Mirror Force or a Torrential Tribute, anything that would disrupt your field right then and there. Okay, guys? So that's pretty much how you're going to use that card. Alright, so let's go ahead and finish up the rest of the cards in the deck. Well, I think we're at the last card. The last trap is Mirror Force. Alright, guys? No deck is complete without it. Next up, we're going to get into the extra deck. Let's talk about these rank 6 monsters I have. First up, we got 1 copy of Photon Street Bouncer, 1 number 25 Focus Force. Yeah, Force Focus, whatever his name is. 1 Thunder Charger, and 1 Exhibitor. Alright, guys, this is pretty much the only 6-star, only 6-star monsters that I run. I don't run more Thunder Chargers than this because I only will overlay over Exhibitor. I would never use Thunder Chargers overlay over number 25 or Photon Street Bounce or anything like that, because those guys are pretty good against the meta. These guys hold me down against Chaos Dragons or any other pesky decks that like to run effects or stuff like that. This one's pretty much for Lavels, and this one's pretty much for anything else other than Lavels. You can tell Fireman I said that too. Alright, guys, so those are my 6-star monsters. Alright, move right along. Next up, 1 copy of number 32 Shark Drake, my personal favorite. 1 copy of Gemini Pearl. 1 C30, well, one C39, I'm sorry, guys. 139 Utopia. 1 number 16 Shockmaster. Alright, guys, we're going to start right here and talk a little bit about Shockmaster. Now, in my first deck profile in the standard build, I took out, what's his name? Valiant.Sigma. Yeah, Valiant.Sigma. To add this guy, alright? Because it's just going to give me a little more control of my opponent. Locking down spells, traps, and monster effects. Alright, guys? So, he's only here to lock up the game even more. On top of my opponent having limited cards in hand, with this guy on the board, it's just going to lock my opponent out of a lot of options. Alright, guys? So, that's number 16, Shockmaster. Next up, 2 copies of Evigishki Mirror Gaze. 2 copies of Ropes to answer my Chaos Dragon problem. 1 copy of Maestro, the Symphony.Gen. And 1 copy of Gatsagachi Gensu. Alright, guys? Now, in a nutshell, that pretty much wraps up my 6-star build. Like I said, I just want to stress to everybody, it's many different ways to actually play this deck. Alright, guys? So don't get discouraged if your deck don't look like mine, or if your deck does look like mine. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good thing too. Alright, guys? So with that being said, this is Water Twin out, guys. Peace.